I didn't get much done today because I was trying to get to where she can split in two areas. Unfortunately, no matter what I did, it never splitted right. So I'm now going to be building her as a full model instead of having it to where she splits apart. And the reason why I want to have her split apart is I want to be able to transport her to and from my house to conventions and whatnot with these. Now I talked to my parents of how the cars work, and they have the seats that fold back, so I'll be able to stash her in and take her to the conventions and whatnot. So it kind of sucks I'll be building her as a full body or a full form figure, but unfortunately due to her actual body, it's kind of hard to hide the split. Unlike with Min-May, Shirley, Freya, and whatnot, I can use the clothing alone to hide the split. So with that said, tomorrow's plan is to properly entrench the wooden dowel right here. I'll actually show you how I have this entrenched when I wake up tomorrow. Of course, I'm going to go and add in the reinforcements right here. That way, so this maintains its shape when I remove this former piece. And then I'm also going to go and more properly reinforce the inside of the body right here. That way, so when I actually go to pick her up, I'll be most likely picking her up right here. That way, so when I do pick her up, the body just doesn't crunch and give way over time. So I gotta make sure all this is properly reinforced. And this is the two parts I tried working with. First, I tried with this right here. The split didn't work right. And then I tried for this right here, and obviously the split didn't work here. So I tried at least. So hopefully tomorrow I should be able to get at least the upper part of her body done. I want to aim for the head also, but I don't think I'll be able to do that because, like I said, I'll be spending quite a while reinforcing this, entrenching the wooden dowel, and reinforcing the inside of the body. So, well, like I said, she can be picked up without collapsing and whatnot. But my ongoing theory for her right now, I'm still forgetting how to pronounce her name, Cortana. My theory for finishing her off will be, I want to say Wednesday of next week. I want to say I'll actually get her done in 4 days, maybe 5, but I've said stuff like that in the past and it ends up being 2 months. So I'm not going to say when it's going to be fully complete, but I'm going to say I'm going to aim for Wednesday. So with that said, I will come back tomorrow when I'm fully awake and more competent, and hopefully be able to finally properly pronounce Cortana's name whenever I'm trying to talk about her, and just show you what I mean by reinforcing this, and of course entrenching this and whatnot. So with that said, I'll see you tomorrow. Alright, so here's what the internals for gosh dang it, why do I keep forgetting her name? Cortana. Here's what they look like. It's fairly basic. Well, actually, it's not fairly basic. There's a lot of work that went into this. So you can kind of see the superstructure I have right here in the top. But I still got to add the reinforcements in the middle here. That way, so when I actually go to pick her up, again, these areas here don't collapse. And just generally overall make the area more robust. So this is actually going to take a very long time to do because let me actually show you how I actually do this. I take a few of these popsicle sticks, and what I do is I hot glue like 3 or so together and give myself a long length of popsicle stick, which I'm actually going to do right now. Give me a second. So I got the little piece made. I have a little piece of jumbo popsicle stick cut this size. I have a hot glue to the wooden stick. Normally what I'll do next is I'll just hose this side here with hot glue. And then what I'll do is I'll take the wooden stick and then I'll just place it basically right like this. And I'll have to hold it there for like 30 seconds because if I try and remove it right after I replace it, the hot glue wouldn't have set properly and I can easily pull it out. So it's going to take a while for me to properly line the stomach align the stomach area with these popsicle sticks. That way, so I can do a framework like this, and then of course I also got to add a framework like I did right here. That way, so I add even extra more extra reinforcements. That way, so when I actually grasp right here, it doesn't collapse on itself. Granted, this right here, this little method here, should be more than enough to make this area here robust enough, but I want to add extra reinforcements because this is where I'm actually going to most likely be handling her, depending on how I actually build the base for her. I have a few ideas of how to do that in my head, but I don't know if it will be feasible or not. So I'm building her in the way of I know I'm going to be able to pick her up right here and she's not going to collapse. So I'm going to spend probably like a good 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, just lining all this and then adding in the reinforcements. So I'll come back when I get all that complete. Alright, got all the superstructures added. I actually didn't need to go super in depth when it comes to reinforcing the stomach area and whatnot. But I got in all the reinforcements I need. This should be more than enough to maintain the wooden dowel and maintain the actual main superstructure itself. So the next thing I gotta do is I just gotta start building the rest of Cortana. So I'm going to also put my camcorder on charge because it's literally about to die. It is taking a lot longer to get the upper portions of Cortana put together than I thought, but I'm still going through the whole process of adding in all the reinforcements, making sure everything's nice and robust. So what I gotta do now is I gotta figure out, do I want to finish the whole top off here and then add in the reinforcements for the shoulders, or do I want to add the shoulder reinforcements now and then get the top area and whatnot done tomorrow? If that's going to be the case, I'll hopefully get both the upper portion here done and of course actually attach your head also. But currently right now I'm watching this glorious live stream and we got good old Medicare, so as I'm building Cortana, I am very much entertained with all this weeb shit. Alright, just got the upper body fully complete, got the neck fully complete, so the next part I gotta do is actually attach the head and whatnot. And of course this right here doesn't need to be that robust, so it's not really fully anchored down like I normally would, because again this is only holding up the head. And the areas that want to be more properly anchored and more properly reinforced are obviously the legs, the torso, and of course up here and whatnot. So this is still strong enough. I can still pick her up like this, and I don't have to worry about it breaking off. But it's just not as entrenched as I normally would. And plus, let's be fair, since this one's not going to be able to be split apart, I didn't put too much effort into this because I know the current little way I have it all set up is more than enough to help maintain the shape of the neck and keep the actual wooden dowel in its place and whatnot. So with that said, I'm now going to go back into Papercraft and start parsing out all the pieces for the face. And since the face's geometry is so small, it's going to be fairly easy to maintain its actual shape and whatnot. And I'll be able to actually build the face around this pole here. That way, so as I build along, the face will be properly centered on the actual body and everything will look right. So I'll come back when I see fit. Most likely I might get maybe half or the full front of the face complete. So I'll come back in a bit. Well, if you ever want to see what Cortana looks like when she's bald, yeah, this is what she looks like. It's definitely a tad creepy, if I would say so myself. And usually when it comes to these models or these figures I build, normally I'm not creeped out by these things. But of course that's because I'm autistic. And I'm guessing that helps me be a little more at ease when it comes to these things. But this one here, I can clearly say at the current state, she's creepy. So hopefully adding the hair will reduce the creepy factor, but we'll have to wait and see. And since I actually figured out how the hair actually goes on her, I'm going to actually build the bottom layer tonight just to get it over with, and then I'm going to finish up the rest of the layer tomorrow. So I'm going to build the bottom layer of the hair and come back. And the creepiness factor is still somewhat there, but it's not as bad as it was. It's just mostly due to the eyes. I don't know what I did wrong, but something about the eye placement just doesn't really help with the way Cortana looks. Again, when it comes to the actual 3D model, the eyes are properly placed. If I go to the actual 3D model here, they're placed in properly, but the face is slightly different. It's hard to pinpoint. But I have everything, like I said, I have the eyes properly placed, but they just look off. But hopefully, again, once I fully add in all the hair, it'll get a little less creepy. But I'm thinking once I actually cover up her forehead, maybe, and actually add the other little bits of hair, it will hopefully change the look and make it a little more pleasing. But this one might have an unfortunate creep factor that I couldn't have foreseen. Obviously, though, I'm not going to be throwing this away. I spent too much time on this, and let's be fair, a life-size Cortana is still better than anything than a little 3-inch figure that I have laying, I believe, in there somewhere. So yeah, tomorrow we'll finish up the hair, and we'll see what it looks like then. I did try swapping out the eyes for more smoother ones. It kind of worked, but she still has that dead stare that is really hard to get rid of. But smoothing out the eyes does help a bit, at least to me personally. So the next major issue I'm running into is when actually she's standing up. She's actually pointed downwards instead of looking straight forward. So hopefully I can fix that with either with the base that she's eventually going to be standing on, or most likely what I'll need to do is I'll need to do a slice on the back right here, somewhere in the back of the head where it's being hidden by the hair, and slightly tilt her head upwards. That way so she's actually staring properly. Because right now she's staring kind of downwards instead of supposed to be staring straight. So I don't know if that's a failure on my part or a failure on the original maker's part, because this was never really designed to be converted to an actual life-size figure. So yeah, at least at a distance she looks okay, I think. Alright, did a little more tweaking of her hair, and I've noticed that if you look at her at the right angle, the face does look correct. So, like I said before, I really don't know what I did wrong when it comes to Cortana's face. I used the formers as I should when I was building her, and my main guess is that, again, since this one wasn't really meant to be converted to a life size, certain aspects like the face and whatnot just don't really carry over properly to life size scaling and whatnot. Maybe the original creator of this model can retweak the face, add more polygons, that way so the face more shapes itself properly. Because most likely the real issue has to do with just the amount of harsh edges that are on the face and whatnot, compared to like a normal human face or like the characters from Macross or Congo. Their faces, when I was done with them, they came out very gorgeous, while this one's here is a little it still looks like Cortana if you look at her at the right angle, but it's still not the best. And since this video's gone on long enough, I think I'm actually going to stop it here, and I'm just going to muddle through the rest of the build off camera, and I'll come back with a done video when she's done. I'm thinking Wednesday? Alright, one quick update. I was messing around in Papercraft. I'm getting the parts set up for the stand, and I just decided to take one little look at her face, and her eyes are actually pointed slightly downwards. So that's a bit of a error on the original maker's part. I did message him asking his thoughts, so maybe he might go and tweak this model a little bit more, or he might make a slightly higher poly count model than this one. I'm not holding my breath or anything, I'm just saying. But I think I stated earlier that my bet is that if I had a slightly higher poly count model of Cortana, all the issues with the face and the eyes would more or less go away because I'll have more poly to work with and whatnot in the simplest form, i.e. the basically the poly count of the Uni mobile games like Youth Macross and whatnot, but where you've seen those are ones poly counts, they're fairly high and fairly detailed, but they're not stupid detailed like my Mass Effect 3 Jack was. So, Patty, what are you going to do now? Patty? Alright, I'm going to stop the video here. Alright, I'm going to quickly pop in before I fully get done with this video. Putting on her hair completely does kind of help with the look. I still can't figure out how to properly reorientate the eyes to get them to where it just don't look this way. And I do have them properly mounted, but it doesn't look like I do. It's probably like a texture failure on his part because, as you notice, this one's more pushed in here while this one's more here. So that is most likely a texture failure on the original designer's part. So I probably need to message him and say that you need to retweak this eye here. And once this eye here gets retweaked to be more proper with this one, then this weirdness will go away instantly. Now, I did message a guy on Facebook. He's currently away right now, so I doubt I'll get this fixed by the time I get done building her. But that is most likely going to resolve the weird face issue. There is another issue with the face though. Actually I think I already stated it earlier, but I'm going to restate it again. That her head is actually pointed on a slight angle downwards. For like if I go like this, she is looking down instead of looking straight up. Now of course that could easily change once I actually add in the stand and whatnot and getting her to a proper final height. But most likely what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up removing her head. As you can see, I already tried doing that once before. And I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to reprint this piece and this piece. And I'm going to rebuild these two pieces all over again. And then I'm going to add cuts into here that way so I can actually physically slide her head down her neck on the back that way so I can more properly tilt her head upwards. But I'm not going to do that yet until I actually get the stand done. The stand will be its whole separate video, which is actually going to be most likely started within the next hour or two. I just want to get this part done and start editing the video together and upload it.